Welcome to Everything But the Kitchen Dink, the podcast where we discuss all things pickleball with your hosts, Rob and Andy.
Okay, welcome back to Everything But the Kitchen Dink. We have some very, very special guests on with us today.
Very special guests.
All the way from California and Las Vegas, which makes me want to go there.
I know, I'm so jealous.
We have Uncle Greg and Brigie. They're from the podcast Third Shot Podcast. I'm already making a mistake. I've only just started.
Well,
don't worry.
It's great to have you guys. You know, it's just, you know, like-minded people from across the pond.
Yeah.
You know, we're obsessed with America anyway. But welcome aboard. And
Thank you.
You
so
are
much.
actually real relatives. It's not just uncle like your friends' parents who you always call uncle when you're growing up. You're actual, or like the local clown who's always got called uncle. But you're actually properly related. So
tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having both of us. And if you are ever in Las Vegas or California,
I'm just going to book.
Okay, yeah, we're booking now.
We would love to host.
Yeah, we would love to.
You know, when people say you should really come over, but they don't mean it, but you do mean it.
Yeah.
I do mean it. Yes, absolutely. I think that's the great part about the pickleball community is the people that you meet and the relationships that you build. So Las Vegas, if you're ever here, I will show you the pickleball courts.
Amazing.
Gladly.
Thank you. We might hold you to that one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
So tell us how you got into pickleball and your relationship.
Yeah, give us your background, your beginning, where it all started.
Well, yeah, he is my actual uncle. He's not the local clown or the
I am
close
the
family
local clown,
relative.
but I'm her uncle too.
But so growing up, my uncle and I would always play sports together. So we've done everything from like kickball to softball leagues. He was kind of my go-to person to have those fun activities with. But then in the recent years, I've moved to Las Vegas. I grew up in California. And I discovered pickleball, and immediately I was like, okay, I need to get Uncle on board with this. So during his visit, he came over and I was like, do you want to come play pickleball? He's like, I didn't bring anything. I think I lent him some of my sweatpants from like high school or something. He's like, I didn't bring anything to go play pickleball. It's like, well, here's some sweatpants. Like, we're going. And it was, history.
So how long ago was that?
That was back in, what was it, 2020, what?
It was
22.
about 2 years ago. It was about 2 years ago now that when you first introduced it to me. But that's not really what got us into pickleball.
Okay.
What really got us into pickleball was maybe 3 months after she introduced it to me. She gives me a call or a text and she goes, Uncle, there's a reality television show that's auditioning people down for pickleball.
We spoke about
Are
that.
you interested in doing it? And I go, heck yeah, we're gonna go to this audition. Now, we had no expectation that we were going to be on the show. We just wanted to have a story to tell at Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we just wanted to have something fun to tell at the family get-togethers. But we went to the audition, and Brigie, what happened?
Yeah, well, we got auditioned, and like he said, we were not expecting to hear anything back, but they did call us back, and we did get to be a part of this pilot episode. I don't think it got picked up or anything, but it was so much fun. Recording lasted about 2 days. We got to go to this, they rented out this house that had a pickleball court in the backyard here in Las Vegas. Right? That's like every pickleball player's dream is to own a house like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fantastic. So we had a cocktail hour, and then the next day we had our tournament. And come the tournament time, this was like our first time playing any sort of competitive pickleball with each other. So I was a little nervous. Uncle was hyped. And the winds in Las Vegas was like, what was it? Like 17 to 20 mile per hour winds. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
It got
to
up
put
to
up with.
over 25 miles an hour at times. It was
really
the
crazy.
ball was just blowing everywhere.
So are you playing outside then, generally?
Yes. In Las Vegas, I think our first indoor court is opening, or maybe it opened this past month, but up until then, it was all outdoor courts.
So you're playing in the morning, early morning, or late at night? I assume you're not playing during the day.
Yeah, we play all the time. It doesn't matter.
You're lucky to be able to do that.
I thought the same thing, that, living in Las Vegas, it's just too hot to play during the days. But Brigie tells me you just get used to it. And even when
Yeah.
it's 110, you're still out there. You're still out there playing.
I'm sweating thinking about it.
Andy took me once to play at that temperature. It nearly killed me. So never again.
Yeah.
You do have to take a lot more water breaks, but
Yeah.
when you're playing, you just kind of forget about everything else that's going on. You're not even really thinking that it's hot until you go to serve, and you're kind of like, woo, maybe I need a water break because I'm getting
You're passing
dehydrated.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you two play at the same level? Do you play together, or how does that work?
Well, Uncle is better than me. I will put that out there.
Yeah.
He is definitely a better player than I am.
Okay.
But when we play in tournaments together, we do play around the same level, right? We play together in the tournaments.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Any arguments on the court, or do you get along quite well?
No, we get along. We get along really well. That's the beautiful thing about Brigie and I,
Yeah.
is our chemistry on the court. There's a lot of teams that stack, or they try to
Yeah.
pick on the woman, or try to bully and that type of thing. And it usually doesn't happen with us because Brigie's being modest. She's saying that I'm a better player than her. She's a very good player herself.
Okay.
So when they try to pick on her, they realize very quickly that's not going to work. So
Yeah. She can hold her own.
she can definitely hold her own. So we
Amazing.
do all right.
Okay. So are you obviously, how far away are you geographically? Because how does it work with practicing?
That's the thing. That's the hard part. We are far from each other. So it's about an hour and a half flight or a
Wow.
9-hour drive.
Oh
Oh,
my God.
so you are far.
So we don't get to play with one another very often. But when he does come out to Las Vegas to visit, he's here for like a week at a time, and he'll stay with me and everything. So we get some good amount of playing time in.
That's brilliant.
Okay. So how many tournaments have you done together? What are your successes? And
How many tournaments have we played together, Brigie? It's about 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, I think it's about 4 or 5.
4
Do you
or
have
5
tournaments? Do you have tournaments on a regular basis over there? I mean, if you wanted to go in a tournament, like for example next week, would there be one available?
They're not that available, but we
Okay.
just played the PPA event in Las Vegas
Okay.
a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that
Mhm.
was a fantastic experience. Just being right next to Tyson McGuffin or
wow.
Ben Johns. I mean, they're just literally playing in the courts next to you.
That's
In one
amazing.
of their competitions, and you feel so bad when you miss hit a ball and it flies into their court, right?
that's how people feel like, when we have big tournaments playing next to us.
And that's what I've heard.
Right?
Your reputation has come all the way over here to California. I've heard that.
We're getting out there, aren't we? We are getting out there. So tell me what made you decide to do a podcast, because we were talking about it for a long time before we actually took the step and said, you know what, let's have a laugh. Let's talk about pickleball. We absolutely love it. So how did you get involved? What made you want to do it?
So it all kind of spurred from that reality TV show that we tried out for.
Okay.
And it was Uncle's idea, so I'm going to let him give all the inside scoop about it. But he does have a history in podcasting, so that's kind of what
Okay.
started.
Right.
Yeah, so the third co-host that we have, his name is Russ. Russ and I used to work together, and he started podcasting with me, doing a sales podcast. And it was mostly internal. And then the COVID hit, and he decided to do his own podcast, and it was called This Is Today. And he would talk about what happened on this date in history, right? And he would go
Okay.
back all over around the world. And he would do a daily podcast. And then he came to me after doing it maybe for 6 months, and he goes, Greg, I think we should do a business podcast. I mean, we had so much fun doing the internal one. Let's just let the world know all the stuff that we want to talk about regarding business. So we started what's called DIY for business. We're still doing it today. So I think we've been doing it for 3 years now.
Okay.
And So I've had such a great time doing podcasts. When Brigie invited me to do the reality show, and we started kind of having an introduction to a lot of people within the pickleball community, I go, this is something that I think we could make a pretty popular podcast about. And it was kind of right when it was booming. I mean, you guys did it around the same time we did, a year ago or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the sport has just grown so fast, and
absolutely.
there's just so many people to talk to and topics to talk about. So I thought this is a great opportunity, and we love doing it. We love talking, we love playing, so let's put together a podcast. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, you're probably the same as us. We found that we were talking about it the whole time. We might as well
Might
do
as
a
well-
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, you're both married, correct?
At the moment, yes.
At the moment. Okay.
Just about
Well,
hanging it together at the moment. Yeah.
Till
Well,
the,
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you talk about pickleball so much that your wives just get sick of it?
well,
Yeah.
I mean, our wives are not interested in pickleball in the slightest. I come in winning a medal, and I go, "I've won a medal." She's like, "Oh, right, okay."
Yeah. I mean, I said to my wife, come and watch at the nationals last week, and they're not, they're happy for us. Occasionally we get, moaning that we're not home enough, but then when we're home too much, they want to get rid of us. So, you can't win sometimes, but yeah.
It's good. I mean, my wife's not very sporty. She's never been really very sporty. I don't know, Eric,
No,
your wife's not really sporty, so they don't. I guess they don't get it. I mean, until you've actually played pickleball and got involved in the social side of it and the whole fun side of things, it's hard to grasp it if you've never done it. I think if they tried it, they'd get it, but
What are your backgrounds from a racket sport point of view? Did you have a background in racket sports?
and are you both married?
I am not married, and I do not have a background in racquetball sports. I
Interesting.
I was a soccer player and a softball player primarily growing up. I played very competitive for both sports. And then as I got older and kind of faded away from playing those really intense sports that I could get hurt playing, I found pickleball, and I was like, well, this is cool. I can still be competitive and still have a good time. And it was exciting too to learn a new sport kind of later on in life.
Okay.
So Andy, I know you're a big football fan.
Yes.
Brigie was very, very good. She was being recruited by some D1 colleges here in America.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, I'm just going to say
the concussions got in the way, unfortunately.
okay. Well, I still think I don't think I'm out of place saying this, but I think you could get in Manchester United's first team right now.
Are they not doing so hot?
No.
Is that your
Ignore him.
team?
We're not
Andy?
talking about football.
Is that your team?
That's my team. He's Manchester
Okay.
City. I'm Manchester United. So
Oh, that
yeah,
makes sense. Funny.
rival teams.
So I have a long history in athletics, but not very much in racket sports, to be honest with you. I was a baseball player, so I played some semi-pro baseball. Played high-level golf. In fact, I'm a golf coach right now for a high school team.
Oh, amazing.
Bowling, of all things. And I was just kind of, the kid that would play any sport, right? Basketball, football, it really didn't matter. So I played a little tennis, rec tennis,
Okay.
and we had a ping pong table at the house, but I never really was a competitive player in any of those sports. But it seemed to come fairly natural when Bridgie got me on the pickleball courts. But I think that's the thing that cooks everybody.
Yeah.
It feels
100%.
like,
Yeah.
it feels like, oh my gosh, I could learn this.
I could do this.
become good
Yeah.
at this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could-
And then
Give me
before you
another
know it, you're
try.
throwing the paddle at the wall.
Or your partner.
Yeah.
I think the overriding factor here is, I mean, we didn't really come, we dabbled a little bit with racket sports, but never on a competitive level. In fact, we've never done anything competitively, but the fact that we are so driven, whatever we're playing, we used to play FIFA on the Xbox as a team. And, even that, we was just so competitive. And,
yeah, it's true.
and I think that's the common factor amongst all of us, really.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a bit of a paddle freak. I seem to change my paddles quite often. So I'm curious to know, what sort of paddles do you use? Do you have a favorite paddle, a go-to paddle? So tell us about that.
Yes. Well, fortunately for us with our podcast, we've gotten to try out a lot of different paddles.
Amazing.
As you can see, on Uncle's
Yes.
background there, he has 4, but that's only 4, and it's only a small portion of his collection or our collection. And
Robert buys 4 a day.
wow. Well,
I'm
I'd
with
be
you,
interested
Robert.
in. Yeah, I want to hear what you're playing with over there. But a
Oh, I'll
couple of
tell
my
you.
favorites. There's a company called Komodo, and they have Katana. I always get them flipped,
Komodo.
but it's the Katana. And that
Okay.
one's made with a Kevlar surface, which
Okay, we
I
had
don't
we
think
had a
lot of.
Kevlar.
Okay, yeah. There's
I
a
love this
company
one.
called something Apes that do a Kevlar one. I think they do a Kevlar one. I think that's what the name of the company, something Apes, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
Anyway, so sorry, go on. So that's the. Are you using that one at the moment?
I love that one. Yes, that's kind
Okay.
of like my go-to one that I pick up usually.
So what do you like
What about
about
you?
it?
Oh, well, the spin on it is fantastic. So
Okay.
maybe coming from a softball sport, my swing was always like from the side. So I would get kind of like this crooked spin on it.
Okay.
So I've been really trying to focus on getting a top spin on it, and that one has really helped me with it without putting too much effort on my end. Which doesn't speak very highly of my athleticism, but the paddle has
I know what you
helped
mean.
a lot.
The paddle does the work.
Yeah.
Let the paddle do the work. Exactly.
And what about you,
If you
Uncle?
can, why not?
What are you using?
You know, Robert, it's very interesting because of the podcast. I'm basically using whichever paddle is sent to us
Okay.
for us
Okay.
to review.
I get that.
You
So
know,
too much
and
choice.
yeah, you know, so I think the most recent interview we did with a paddle company is with a company called
Yep.
PCKL.
Okay.
And they have a Pro Series paddle. Brigie's got one on her wall right now. She's got the 16 millimeter. This is the 13 millimeter.
Okay.
So I've been playing with this paddle recently just to get ready for the show and to be
Right.
able to give something accurate to talk about.
Yes.
So I try to get as many gains in as possible with the paddles that, you know, we're reviewing. So this last one, the one I just showed you, the PCKL Pro Series 13, I really like a lot.
Okay.
It's light. You know, it has a lot of power, but it doesn't. It's very forgiving. The sweet spot on that paddle is huge.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, and I'm not a pro level player where I'm hitting the sweet spot on my paddle every time. So that little forgiveness really
Yeah,
helps a
it
lot.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah, I could
And
do with that.
and I have you know, I have carpal tunnel on my wrist,
Okay.
and it kind of irritates my elbow when I miss it. And so, you know, having a bigger sweet spot has helped me with the. And I have something for you, Robert, actually,
Okay.
because I know you were talking a little bit about your tendonitis issue,
Yes. Yeah. It's
right?
yeah, I've just started doing some exercises for it, but go on, what have you got?
So we had our guest on. His name is Justin Fareed, and he owns a
Okay.
company called ProBand, and
Pro
this is called the Need It.
Need
And
it. Right.
Okay.
and you can see the little V here. You put it right underneath your kneecap. And you
Okay.
kind of strap it in, and there's magnets on both sides, and it gives it support, and it strengthens the knee. So I have tendonitis as well,
Okay.
and I tried this device out, to Need It, and it was a game changer for me.
Really?
It's a game
I need
changer for
it.
me. That's why they did. And then they also have one called the Bandit, which you
Okay.
put on your forearm,
Elbow.
right underneath kind of your elbow area, and that
Interesting.
helps with pickleball elbow,
So are
and it
they
helps with
American
carpet tunnel.
company? Can we get that in the
It is
UK
an
or
American
not?
company.
Right.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
out
Well,
of
we can
Southern
ask them.
California,
Okay.
but
I
it's
think
called
they do ship
ProBand.
internationally though, because didn't you find it on Amazon as well? Their products are
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Okay.
So
Amazing. Oh, I'll have a look into that.
it
Thank you.
works great. I
that's
had
yeah.
elbow
good.
problems too.
So
Who doesn't?
how often are you guys actually able to play then? Or are you literally playing every day?
Oh, I wish I had time to play every day. I have a regular 8 to 5 job. I have a second job. I have the podcast. So between all of that, I probably play like 2 or 3 times a week, unfortunately. I would love to play every day though.
And how long are the sessions when you do get to play?
Oh my gosh, at least 2 hours.
Right.
There's a huge complex that I go to in Las Vegas. It's called the Sunset Park Pickleball Complex. There's 23, 24 courts out
Oh
there.
gosh,
And
you're
so
killing me here.
yeah, it's
You're killing
beautiful.
me.
Yeah, with lights too. So
Oh,
in the evenings, it gets packed.
I bet.
Anywhere from like maybe 5 to about 10, and the courts close at 11. 5 to 10, it's hard to even find a court. So you just throw your
Really?
paddle down and try to jump on and circulate. But
That's
yeah, you're
amazing.
not at a loss for finding someone to play with out here.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely
I
amazing.
mean, we don't even have courts. You know,
No.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, we have to use badminton courts indoors.
So indoor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we wouldn't play outdoor here anyway. You
Yeah,
know,
the weather's terrible.
it'd be water
Mm.
pickleball.
So I heard your podcast and you guys were at nationals and then you guys are talking about red tape.
Yes.
So
Yes.
are they taping out basketball courts or
Tennis
what kind of
courts.
courts? Are
Yeah.
They're
tennis
tennis
courts.
courts. Yeah, so they're marking out 4 pickleball courts on a tennis court. So
I mean, at the English Open, which I believe was the largest
outside
the
of
largest
America.
tournament outside of America, they actually had rollout courts.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
we couldn't do that at this other venue because it was smaller and the rollout courts take up too much space.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get as many courts and it's oversubscribed here.
So for us, it was a dream come true playing on proper pickleball courts. I mean, they were outdoor courts as well, so they're proper outdoor courts. But the red lines that we had to play on, it's not the same.
Yeah, and there's other lines there and it can get confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you got confused one time, Andy.
It doesn't.
He's always getting confused.
It doesn't take much. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I'd like to think that was the reason we lost.
Well, congratulations, though. Both of you did so
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
Yes,
And-
congratulations.
But we just had a conversation before we came on air with you that I'm feeling very frustrated at the moment because I'm very competitive and I don't want to just go to the next tournament at 4 and just make up the numbers. I want to figure out how to get to that next level, and it's very frustrating for us not having courts here and having to and also working. It really sucks
Yeah.
that I have to work.
Yeah,
Who needs a job?
exactly. Yeah.
I know.
Just do pickleball.
I'd like to win the lottery, but I don't even buy a ticket. So
So how often do you two get to play then?
Couple of times a week
Yeah.
at the moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're talking about maybe trying to do some drilling on another night or another morning. So we're hopefully going to get that sorted and work on a bit more tactical play as well, because we need to now we're going up levels. We need to start thinking about more tactical play as well. So we're going to try and work on that. So I don't know if you heard also we mentioned Duper in our last episode.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on Duper.
Is it just us?
Does it work for you over there? Is it quick updating? I mean, tell us about it.
So I haven't really had a chance to use Duper too much. When I first got on, there was no Duper events in Las Vegas. And so since then, I haven't even gone back to try. I'm sure that it's picked up, but Uncle uses it pretty frequently, right?
Yeah, I've been doing duper events. My club that I'm a member of, they'll have a duper tournament every week. Like
Wow.
Thursday night is duper night, right? So
Wow. Okay.
they'll have different level duper tournaments. Like they'll have a 3-0 and less tournament. They'll have a 3-0 to 3-0 plus tournament. Those types
Okay.
of things. And I helped organize one recently. So I'm learning more about duper, but it has its flaws. And I think it kind of changed. They changed their algorithms a little bit with the newer players and getting their immediate ratings. It's I don't know. There's sandbagging that goes on, so you can definitely
Yes, Andy.
you
Yeah.
can definitely impact your duper rating. And then we've even run across a number of people that just want a high duper rating, and they got friends that are like 4 or 5s, and say, "Oh yeah, just say you played against us. I'll
Yeah.
approve it," and then it moves their rating up. So
Silly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
there's there's some flaws that are,
Yeah.
that need to be worked out, but there's really nothing else out there.
No, that's the problem.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
competition.
And nothing's going to be perfect. But from what you're saying, Bridgie, you don't actually have a Duper rating.
I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay, and then again, that's the other issue that people, like we played some people who didn't have a rating, so our rating didn't go up, and now they're on Duper, they're up at 4.5. So
yeah.
So I guess you're never going to get a perfect system, and we always want a bad boy to moan about, and I guess it's going to be Duper.
Yeah, I guess it is at the moment.
Who never replied to my email, by the way. Just saying.
Well, Duper's listening right now. So
okay.
Reply to my email.
Yeah.
We don't mind.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask us before we finish?
I do have a question for you, because I know that you came to America and you went over to the Diadem complex, and
Yes.
you got to check out that. It's amazing. It's amazing. We've interviewed. In fact, our first interview was with Kevin McLaughlin. He's an employee over at Diadem, and we have one of their top junior players, Kyle. What's Kyle's last name? Kelman. Thank you, Bridgie. Kyle Kelman. He's one of their younger players. He's an up and comer. I think he's 14, 15, and he's playing against
he's
the adult.
very young.
Amazing.
Anyway, my question is like, okay, you got to see the complex, you got to see pickleball in America. How does it differ? And speaking of Duper, like, does a 4.0 in America equate to a 4.0 in England?
You're opening up a whole can of worms here.
I want to hear it.
Okay, so I'll answer the one about the complex.
And I'll answer the one about ratings.
Complex, it was like going to pickleball heaven for me. It was not just the fact that they had purpose-built courts that were inside. It was the fact that they had all kinds of tournaments, all kinds of leagues, all kinds of clinics, rec play. It was just amazing. It was everybody's pickleball answers. And also coming from a pickleball background where you struggle to find any courts, let alone pickleball courts, badminton courts, because we're competing, especially in the winter, when we call up to get court availability, there might be people playing indoor football, so we're not just competing with badminton or tennis. Luckily, we've got a regular slot now, but going on to 3, 4, 5 nights a week, it's
impossible.
It's never going to happen.
No.
We
would love to have a dedicated player. I mean, there is one that has just opened, probably about an hour and a half away from where we live. It's the first one, really, indoor pickleball place. They have 3 courts, proper courts. But again, it's just a bit too far for us to start traveling to go there.
But even the fact that taking the complex away, I would get up in the morning and I would go. There would be, a whole host of venues to choose from outside. I would play every morning, and it would just I would ask people, when do you play? And they would say, oh, every day. And if there's no game, I'll just go and drill for an hour. I was crying inside.
So when are you moving to Florida?
Yes.
Well, I keep asking people to buy my business, but nobody is. So at the moment, I have to work to pay the bills.
I'm ready to move.
But you're coming. You're coming across the pond.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's not that easy. We can't just come and live there.
No. Also, my mother-in-law still lives there, so I have to be careful. I've said too much. Okay, moving on.
The only way I don't think you can, as a UK resident, just come and live in the States.
No, I would have to go maybe 6 months or 3 months.
And I'd have to marry an American girl, so
Yeah, and you already said you're never getting married again. So yeah.
I think that's everything.
Well, you have another question.
Well, Robert, you got to tell us about the rating system. What's the 4.0 like?
Of course. So we've got a guy actually coming to our club at the moment who is he lives in America. He's from the UK. He's married to a pickleball pro over there. He is a 4.5, and he came and he played, and he's a good player. He's a really good player. I think there's a
You
difference.
can see the difference in his quality.
There's a difference to a 4.5 player in America to a 4.5 player over here, I would say. I actually, when I was in Florida, I went to a place called Clear One. Also, when I was in Texas, I went to another place and played with some guys whose ratings were 4s, 4, 5. I think it's very mixed. To summarize, I think there's a whole mix. I think some players are really good, and I would say, yes, they are 4.5. Others are not. So I don't know if that's down to the Duper rating, and that's the reason for that. But we get guys that come over sometimes and they say, yeah, I'm a 4.5, and I'd say they were a 3.5. So a massive difference. But then there's other guys that do come over and say I'm a 4.5, and they are a 4.5. So yeah, I think there's a mixed bag in there, and I think the longer it goes on, it'll get ironed out a bit more.
But I also think that we have a problem with Duper. Our Dupers only get updated really, well, the two main tournaments in the year, and then the odd thing here and there. And that's the problem, because we had a tournament last week and it probably won't be updated for another few months, because there's so many people that enter. So so if I went to America, my rating would be different than what my rating says. And that so really we need to move away from worrying too much about ratings.
Well, we don't, because it does mean that when you do enter a competition and they ask for your rating, it needs to be, if your rating suddenly goes down over here because for whatever reason and you're a 3.8, but you want to enter in America at 4.0, I mean, how strict are they?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't let me.
They wouldn't let you play. No, exactly. So it does affect you.
It does, because when it takes 3 to 4 months to update, that's the problem.
So yeah, it's not perfect.
Yeah,
it's not perfect.
But
hey ho, I'm coming to Vegas.
When you enter nationals, it's self-rated. You could put in anything you wanted.
No, I mean it does go by Duper, but for example, we had the Open in August, which we won at 3.5, and Robert went over a 4, but not until the application had been done for the nationals last week. So people go for, say, 3.5, but by the time the tournament comes around, they're a 4.
I see.
So then do you get booted, or does it?
No,
it's at the time of your application?
No, it's yeah. So I'm sure there's sandbagging going on, but I don't think it's as bad here as from what I've heard in America.
Because it's a lot smaller here. Everyone seems to know everyone in the community, so a lot of people will know sort of what rating you are, because they've seen you play.
Yes, a lot. We know each other here.
That's the difference at the moment. So it's not big enough yet to sort of have that, because everyone does sort of know, and they'd know if you were sandbagging, because they know really what level you're playing at.
So what level do you guys play at?
We played up to 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, so we either play 3.5 or 3.0, depending on the tournament, depending on how many teams, that whole thing. So
okay, do you plan to go to 4 and 4.5?
Is there a plan?
I wanted you to answer at the same time and see what each of you said.
Well, I would love to be able to get up there, but with the amount of time that I have to dedicate to practicing and drilling and talking with people and them sharing their story on how they get better, they spend a lot of time just drilling, like hours a day. And I wish I had that amount of time to dedicate, but I think right now I'm just like a competitive 3-point something.
Right.
Okay. Right. That's fine. And would you ever think about leaving America? Not that you really need to come and do some competitions over here or in Europe.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Uncle, you want to go to Europe and do a tournament?
Well, I'm guessing is Robert inviting us right now?
Of course,
if that's the case.
You can stay here, no problem. We can do the English Open.
Yeah, English Open is we get a lot of people from around the world coming to the English Open.
Yeah, we had a lot from America come over.
Yeah, so that's going to be July, August.
In fact, we played a couple of guys from America. Yeah. One was a pickleball coach in the States. So
wow.
We do get a lot of people coming over.
How did he play?
Well, it was actually our toughest match of the whole tournament.
It was, yeah.
That was the quarterfinal, and we scraped through, but that we said at the time that was our toughest game.
So
Yeah.
I have one more question for the two of you.
Okay.
And it's talk about indoor facilities, because we just recently interviewed a guy who's opening up 20, right, Brigie? He's opening up
Yeah, I
20
was
locations in the
Wow.
state of Texas, indoor locations in the state of Texas
Wow.
over time. And he's starting his first one. I was just curious, like, if somebody were to, like, a developer wanted to come over to England and
I'm
open up,
liking where this is going.
would they be successful? Like, he's opening up courts that are having like 15 to 20 courts in each facility. Would that work in England?
Well,
I think so.
I think that the problem with the UK is obviously America is huge and it's vast, and you have a lot of massive buildings over there. We do, to be fair, we have big buildings, but the cost for us to get one of these buildings with the rent and the rates, it's astronomical. So is it big enough here yet for that to sustain it? I don't think so. I have to disagree.
Financially, maybe not, but we don't know what the financials are that are involved. If they come over and they take over a tennis centre that isn't, because tennis isn't massively popular here, but we have tennis centres. I mean, there's one in Manchester that, you know, I don't know, it might never be used. It might be very underutilized. And if somebody from America wanted to come over and convert a centre that was already there, that might be a better option.
I think it's going to happen, and I think now's the time for someone to get on the front foot with it. Definitely.
I mean, we don't care if someone comes and loses a load of money as long as it's
as long as we can play there. Yeah.
Like the indoor location that you were referring to earlier, how much do they charge to play there?
Well, we have 4 courts there.
No, the one in Telford.
Oh, the one in Telford. I don't think it's a lot, honestly. I think it's like £4 a person, so like £20 an hour for a court, maybe.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I think if you put something
Don't
in
quote
like,
me on that because I'm not 100%, but
you know, if you
it's
have
not
a
expensive.
pickleball shop in there and you have a restaurant
In a cafe
and a
whatever,
bar, and
yeah.
you know, then I'm sure somebody with a business mind better than ours can make it work.
With more money than us, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
if you know anybody that wants to, you know, we're almost like a sleeping giant here.
Yeah.
You know, we started our club it was a 3.5 plus club, and Robert's turning people away
Daily.
on a daily basis. So the demand is there.
Yeah.
But I don't think the outside of the pickleball community, nobody really knows yet what pickleball is.
But it is getting
So
more
if we
popular.
go there, Uncle, we gotta be above a 3.5. So
No,
we can
you're
play
always
this
welcome
club.
to come.
Yeah.
And now I'm a coach. I can help you with a few things as well. So.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I'm coming down to visit you later this month, so we'll have to get our practice in. We'll be ready.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, listen, it's been absolutely
It's been
a pleasure
amazing
to have you on the show. It's been really nice to chat to you, to see what it's like from the other side of the pond, and it's been lovely. And as I say, hopefully we'll get you on again at some point.
Yeah, and hopefully the start of a beautiful friendship here.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are definitely coming to Vegas.
Yes,
don't tell
come
the
on
wives.
over. Thank you so
And-
much for having us.
Oh, you're so
And,
welcome.
been a pleasure.
The invitation is to come on our show as well. We'd love to have you
love
on
to.
Third
We're
Shot
there.
Podcast.
We'd
We're
love to
there.
come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're gonna put
Brilliant.
it together. then.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank
Enjoy your
you. Take
Sunday.
care.
Thank you.
Cheers.